In this video, I want to talk about Liberty Falls, or Liberty Balls, or Liberty Flop, Liberty Falls off the face of the earth, whatever you want to call it. Specifically, I want to talk about the fact that Treyarch made a big mistake in how they revealed this map, and I want to discuss a lot of the criticism and response in regards to this map. So I do not think that Liberty Falls should have ever been revealed at Call of Duty Next at all. We already had Terminus revealed just a few months prior that got people very excited and hyped with a unique atmosphere, and to be honest, I think that was enough. I think they really should have just kept Liberty Falls as a bit of a secret map, really only giving us a gameplay trailer. I think sometimes showing us too much can be a bad thing, and especially in the environment of Call of Duty Next, I don't think it was fair to the map to reveal it in this way. I think that so many people have cancelled their pre-orders from the Call of Duty Next reveal, and they also think that this is all that Black Ops 6 Zombies has to offer, because not everyone is engaged with all of the marketing cycle. I think Treyarch thought when revealing this map at Call of Duty Next that of course a bunch of multiplayer and Warzone fans would be watching it, and this would be a good way for them to present a very simple map that also looks very aesthetically similar to Warzone, and they thought that would be a good thing to attract them in. However, it's done the complete opposite. I think it's turned off so many people, especially the Zombies community, that were already excited for this mode. They spent a lot of money on Call of Duty Next. I mean, God knows how much money they spent just to get this mega abomination built. It looks so cool, and honestly I feel like all of that money that went into the Zombies side of Call of Duty Next was probably wasted, because I feel like if anything they've lost money from this reveal due to people cancelling their pre-orders or now dipping out and not being interested in the game, and I think some of that is fair, but I want to discuss this from a more nuanced angle. So Liberty Falls in general, the map looks very bland. Unfortunately, it's pretty much comprised of just browns, yellows and greys. The aesthetics look more like a Modern Warfare map, to be honest, than a Treyarch experience, and it's really unfortunate because we know Treyarch are still capable of creating unique environments, as we've seen with Terminus. So it really confuses me as to what went on behind the scenes into development, as to why they decided to keep Liberty Falls as being such a bland aesthetic. I understand storytelling wise, the map is literally just set in a rural town in West Virginia that's been overrun by zombies. It's also near the start of the outbreak, so it's not too destroyed, and because Terminus and Liberty Falls are taking place at the same time, Terminus being at night, Liberty Falls has to be set during the day. But I do find it a bit odd that Treyarch went for this extremely bright sunny map and they didn't go for any kind of moody atmosphere. They could have had, for example, some sort of dark ether portal in the sky, purple electricity coming down, or they could have gone the Shangri-La route, had some clouds or some orange aesthetics. I think adding some clouds on this map would have been cool. To be honest, the gameplay kind of, to me, it looks like a Dead Island experience or something along those lines. That's the aesthetic I would expect. Now overall, whilst I'm not pleased with the atmosphere of this map, I do appreciate that it is just one experience, and Terminus does have the unique atmosphere that we've been craving for so long, and I'm just hoping that moving into the DLC, all maps are of the same caliber, Easter egg as well as atmosphere wise as Terminus, which I really think they probably will be. I feel like I was saying, this map has been designed specifically to try and attract Warzone fans, but it is a bit confusing because surely Warzone fans only really care about the mechanics. If they have a map that has a rich atmosphere, I don't see why Warzone fans would be turned off by that. It doesn't make sense. Like I said, it is a bit boggling why they didn't go for a unique atmosphere with this map when clearly they've put so much effort into bringing that back for Terminus. In the initial Black Ops 6 reveal, they said that they were really trying to get the atmosphere back for zombies, and we've seen, like I was saying, they've been able to do that with one map, but just not this other one, which makes me think that it has to have been intentional, but I just don't really know the reason why. Now, there's many different reasons why I think Call of Duty Next was a mistake. First of all, the live stream itself was on an extremely low bitrate, which made the map seem a lot worse than it actually is. Don't get me wrong, I don't think the map is going to be phenomenal aesthetics wise by any means. Obviously, it's a very bland, basic town. Apart from the Dark Ether section for Pack-a-Punch, there's not really much going on unless there's secret places uncovered in the main quest. However, I do think that the gameplay made it out to be worse than it is. I haven't seen any clear gameplay footage yet. Everything I have seen is very pixelated, and because of that, it's definitely making the map look worse than it actually is, as well as the fact I think it's making the colors look more washed out. Whilst yes, I think that the colors are pretty bland, like I said, they're just yellows, grays, and browns, I do think that they pop a little bit more if we actually got to play it for ourselves in the highest quality. What I don't understand with the Liberty Falls reveal is why Treyarch didn't provide everyone with 15 odd minutes of just B-roll footage with no HUD of the map, just like they did with Terminus. They did provide some shots, some very basic ones, but even they were pretty poor quality, and you can see the map does look better with no HUD. It's still not, like I was saying, the best best map aesthetically ever. It's probably definitely still one of the worst looking zombies maps we've ever gotten from Treyarch. However, it still doesn't look as bad as with the HUD, and now I'll come onto the HUD topic in a second. But yeah, I think Call of Duty Next was a massive mistake marketing wise. I think what they should have done is they should have allowed us to play the map for ourselves, to judge the map for ourselves first. There were rumors before that we would be getting early access for Liberty Falls. However, Activision seemed to have opted against that idea. Now, I wonder if that's because they anticipated people wouldn't really like Liberty Falls, but if that's the case, then why reveal it at Call of Duty Next? Call of Duty Next was just such a big mistake. They have an awesome map, Terminus, that they could have shown to us instead, but they opted to not do that, and I think, like I was saying, the reason was because they wanted to show the simple map to try and attract Warzone and multiplayer fans. However, they should have probably just shown both maps. I don't know. Personally, I don't think they should have had early gameplay at all. I think what they did with Terminus was relatively okay, but even then I think it was showing a bit too much. I would have liked to just keep the zombies experience secret for launch and us just see gameplay trailers. They could have given us gameplay details but not actually shown the full experience, and I think that's been a big problem with Call of Duty Next. They could have revealed Terminus and then they could have said we have this other map, it's a more simple map, but you're gonna have to experience it on launch. And I definitely think there would have been hate on launch, don't get me wrong. However, I don't think it would have been quite as extreme as this, because people would have been able to experience and judge for themselves, as well as it wouldn't have looked quite as bad as the gameplay, as well as the fact that of course all of the Easter eggs, the side Easter eggs, as well as the main quest were disabled in the build of the game they were playing at Call of Duty Next. Because of that, people didn't get to experience the full levy of what the map has to offer, whereas if they let us experience it via early access, people might have actually been able to do the quest if so. This brings me on to another thing why I think Call of Duty Next was a massive mistake, is because we obviously have the Rewind multiplayer map that is similarly set in Liberty Falls. Now, it's not set in the section directly from the zombies map, it's more so on the outskirts of the town, so it's not actually the same map. However, aesthetically, they look almost identical, and I think it was a big mistake at Call of Duty Next where they showed multiplayer first, we got footage of this map first, and then we literally saw Liberty Falls right after, and people who were seeing it for the first time realized just how similar they looked. Now, lots of people right now are saying that Liberty Falls is just a reused multiplayer map. Now, that is not the case. Liberty Falls did go into development way before the multiplayer map ever went into development. It was teased in the intel of Cold War Zombies literally 4 years ago. This is something that Treyarch have planned for a very long time. However, at some point they obviously decided to base a multiplayer map on Liberty Falls similarly, probably because its aesthetics are so similar. However, this doesn't negate the fact that Liberty Falls definitely looks like a multiplayer or a Warzone map. That's definitely something that's a big problem. But I don't think it's fair for people to just say that the map is just reused assets or reused from the campaign, because that's not the case. It's all entirely unique level design and an entirely unique place that we have never seen before. There's just a multiplayer map that's taken place close to it. The problem isn't reused assets, the problem is how these assets are actually used, because Liberty Falls looks way too much like multiplayer, but it isn't because it was taken from multiplayer. They chose to have this aesthetic look. If we look back to the original Zombies maps, most of them were actually taken from multiplayer of the campaign, such as Night Toronto, Verrucht, Ascension, and so many more in the early days. However, all of these maps have striking, unique atmospheres, and even Launch, the multiplayer map that Ascension is based on, has more of a zombies atmosphere than Liberty Falls, so I think this was kind of inherent parts of how the aesthetics of these maps looked, and the problem was never reused assets. I've said this a million times in videos in the past. I have no problem at all with Treyarch reusing campaign or multiplayer maps for zombies experiences, so long as the maps are good and so long as they still have rich atmospheres. I think the problem in the past is Cold War Zombies, for example, was looking way too bland and looking way too much like a Warzone or a multiplayer experience, but this wasn't a problem of them reusing assets, I don't think. I think it's just part of how the maps were designed. I think the map where it really impacted it massively, though, was the Forsaken, because they didn't really change the design from the campaign at all. They just kind of joined different sections together with the zip lines, which made the flow of the map feel really jarring, and it was so obvious it was just taken from the campaign. Probably because they were short on time to develop this final map due to constraints of Cold War Zombies, unfortunately. Now, Treyarch have actually announced that no DLC Zombies maps in Black Ops 6 are going to be reused campaign levels, and they're all going to be originally built for zombies. But that doesn't necessarily mean the atmospheres are going to be rich, because Liberty Falls is originally built for zombies as well, and it doesn't have that great of an atmosphere. So like I said, the problem has never been reused assets, it's always been how they design and how they incorporate these assets. However, like I was saying, I feel like all of the DLC is going to be of the same caliber of Terminus. I have no evidence to go on that, but the fact that Treyarch were saying they want to strike unique atmospheres again, and they've done that with Terminus makes me think that they're gonna do it in all of the DLC, and for some reason they chose to have a different aesthetic for Liberty Falls. Now here are a few more reasons why I think the Call of Duty Next reveal was a massive mistake. One of the biggest complaints of the reveal has been the HUD. People clearly only just found out about a Cold War Zombies style HUD returning for Black Ops 6 Zombies. It's not exactly the same as Cold War Zombies, but it is very, very similar. It's more of a streamlined version, similar to Vanguard and Modern Warfare 3 Zombies as well, where the last 3 Zombies experiences, their HUDs have all seemed pretty much interchangeable with the campaign, Warzone, or multiplayer. They're very similar. They're not zombiesified like the HUDs of the past with the blood splatter in Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 3's beautiful HUD as well. The HUD is definitely a major problem. Some people say, well, it's not really a big deal, the gameplay matters, but I disagree. It is something that you look at literally all of the time and is going to affect how you experience the map. There is a reason that Treyarch revealed Terminus with no HUD gameplay. They clearly anticipated that people were not going to like the HUD, and yet they still left the HUD as it is anyways, and it's really odd how they anticipated the hate for the HUD, and yet Liberty Falls showed the HUD in all its glory. I mean, the HUD is definitely so bad. Literally, anytime you want to interact with anything, there's literally a big pop-up on screen, and they just look so horrible. I mean, if you literally look at the Gobblegum pop-up and compare it to the Gobblegum pop-up in Black Ops 3, you can see the massive difference in aesthetics. One has been tailored and catered towards zombies specifically, the other is kind of just a generic box. But this ties into why I think Call of Duty Next was a mistake in how they revealed it specifically. Apparently the builds that people were playing of Liberty Falls, they were not able to actually alter the HUD and change it, otherwise it would crash the game. Now it is a bit concerning that this is the case and we're only a couple months out for release. They better have this sorted, because if this is happening on release, we're going to have a major issue. I'm hoping that the build they played of Liberty Falls was actually an old build and it was made months ago specifically for Call of Duty Next, and whatever was causing these crashes has already been fixed. However, this is why Call of Duty Next was a big mistake. As far as I'm aware, on the Call of Duty Next livestream themselves, Kevin Drew or any of the other people presenting it never actually explained that you could fully customize the HUD. This was a big marketing point when Terminus was first revealed, but what I think is very obvious is that a lot of people watching Call of Duty Next never saw the initial Black Ops 6 Zombies reveal. This was their first time looking at Black Ops 6 Zombies footage, and they don't know that you can customize the HUD. So for those who haven't been tuned in, basically there's going to be a lot of set presets where you are able to adjust the HUD. So there's versions of the HUD that have no minimap, there's versions of the HUD that position everything on screen in a similar way to Black Ops 3's, although it doesn't actually look like Black Ops 3's unfortunately, and takes off a lot of the annoying things that people were complaining about with the Liberty Falls gameplay. And using this HUD will definitely be a better experience when you actually get to playing Liberty Falls. If they let people play with more of a Black Ops 3 style HUD, I think people would have been a little bit less cautious. Yes, they probably still would have not liked the HUD, but they would have liked it a bit more than the version with the minimap and the compass and all the other these things. Also, apparently, you're able to fully turn the HUD off, so if you want to play no HUD, just like we've seen with the early gameplay of Terminus and the little snippets of Liberty Falls, you can do that as well. Of course, you're going to be hindered gameplay-wise, but if you want a challenge or if you just want to do it for atmosphere reasons, you are able to do that. As well as the fact that apparently you were able to turn off all of these annoying things that are on screen, such as the health bars on the zombies or the XP icons or the medals. Apparently all of that is able to be turned off. Now, you are not able to fully customize the HUD, as in you cannot change the position of where everything is. This is what we thought it was initially going to be like, and I guess it was misleading marketing. There's just a set number of presets you can choose from. I hope Treyarch can allow us to fully customize it so we can move anything and shape everything to the size we want, but as far as we're aware, we can't do that just yet. But it's good that we have presets as well, and I think there's going to be a lot of presets, so most of them should probably answer how you would want to have it positioned if you had the full freedom anyways. But yeah, I think it was a big mistake in Call of Duty Next for the developers to not explain that the HUD is fully customizable and everything is able to be removed, because a big complaint I have seen is so many people complaining about the minimap, so many people complaining about the zombie health counter and all of these other things, and they haven't realized that this stuff is able to be turned off. And I think this has been a big problem with Call of Duty Next in general, is like I was saying before, so many people tuned into this event and they saw zombies for the first time. They had never seen Terminus, they had never seen anything else. I don't really know why this is the case though. I guess it's because Call of Duty Next is the more casual marketing event where everyone tunes in, and the other marketing from a month ago, people who are not engaged with the Call of Duty community and they just zone in every now and again, that's where they were seeing footage for the first time. So they were unaware that you can alter the HUD. And also, another big thing about the Liberty Falls gameplay reveal is that I've seen so many people just realizing for the first time that the Cold War Zombies style systems are returning. Even even though this was revealed a month ago. I've seen it all over TikTok, people complaining about the Cold War zombie systems as if they've just learnt it for the first time. They were saying, Treyarch lied to us with the Terminus reveal. They thought that it was going to be just like Black Ops 3, when Treyarch have never said that. They've always said that for Black Ops 6 zombies, they're going to be taking the best of Black Ops 3 zombies and as well as Cold War zombies and merging the best of each mode. And I think that's what they've done with Black Ops 6 zombies. You know, they've taken the atmosphere that we have on Terminus, for example. They've gone for harder Easter eggs. They've gone for a rich amount of side quests. But then they've got all of the Cold War zombie systems as well. So people discovered that the minimap is back again. Like I said, you can turn it off. People discovered that you spawn in with a loadout weapon again, not just a pistol. People discovered that there's things like the zombie health bars, which again you can turn off. People discovered that there's now armor back again, but it's more like Warzone and Modern Warfare 3 zombies. People discovered that the weapon rarity system was returning. People discovered that salvage is back. People discovered that score streaks were again in zombies, and people acted shocked. And I am just so still confused by this. It's just so surprising, and it shows you how disconnected a lot of people are from the news cycle. So many people discovered this for the first time when it was revealed a month ago. So when Terminus was first revealed, we learned all of this stuff, and I wasn't seeing too much hate for it. Some people were critical. However, because Treyarch were listening in a lot of other ways, such as being able to customize the HUD, such as harder Easter eggs again, a guided quest, such as being able to save your game on solo and return at a later point because of the innovative augment system, I think a lot of people were not that concerned by the Cold War zombie systems returning, even for those who didn't like them that much, because they were so pleased with all of the other features that Treyarch had announced. So it kind of balanced things out where, you know, maybe some people weren't as happy with some of the things, but they've got a lot of other things that they can enjoy. However, like I was saying, I think that a lot of people tuned in for Call of Duty Next for the first time. They saw all of these Cold War zombie systems returning, and they didn't hear of all of these features I just mentioned, so they just assume this is all that Black Ops 6 Zombies has to offer, and they think that's just a copy and paste from Black Ops Cold War, and it's just basically the same mode, especially because the map looks like it's from Outbreak. It's just a very bland looking map. It looks very much like Glover from Outbreak, for example. So yeah, I think Treyarch really should have had a recap section where they went over all of this good news during the event to better entice people. So the biggest complaint about Liberty Falls, like I've been discussing this whole video, has been the atmosphere. Now, I made a video when it was first revealed saying how much people hate the map, and all of my comment section that you can see on screen is saying, well, we don't actually hate how simple the map is, we just hate the atmosphere. However, that might be true of a lot of people making these comments, but it's not true of the wider community. On TikTok especially, I've seen people both critiquing the atmosphere, but also critiquing how easy the map is and the Cold War zombie systems. So whilst a lot of people might not be as concerned about how easy the map is, there are people that are. A lot of people, actually. So when Terminus was revealed, Treyarch said they want to be doing harder Easter eggs again. They're going to be making high rounds harder. They're limiting the self-revives to just 3 now. And also the harder quests will be more difficult with a guided version weeks after release so that everyone can enjoy the quests. So they're catering to both groups of the community. So then people were shocked that Liberty Falls is so easy. However, when Treyarch did reveal or tease Liberty Falls, they did say that Terminus is meant to be the harder, more complex map. Liberty Falls is basically the more casual map, the simple one, the one that is basically there to grind camos, level up weapons, etc. The pack-a-punch is so easy, you literally just open doors, then go into the church and you can pack-a-punch. Now, there is going to be a main quest and there are going to be side quests, like I said earlier, and they were turned off, so maybe they're going to be more complicated. However, I think it's going to be a relatively easy quest. I think Terminus will be quite difficult, and I think all of the DLC will be quite difficult, but Liberty Falls will be easier. I don't think quite as easy as some of the Cold War Zombies quests. However, I do think it's going to be relatively easy compared to the rest in the game because this map is supposed to be the more simple one. So in that video, I talked about how, you know, lots of people complaining about how simple the map is, even though Treyarch have always described the map as being simple, as having a basic layout, as being a much smaller map than Terminus. This is a big complaint. Yes, most people are concerned about the atmosphere, but a lot of people are complaining about the easiness as well. However, I counter that. I think that Liberty Falls was made intentionally easier for the Call of Duty Next reveal, which is why I think that the Call of Duty Next reveal was a mistake. So we saw at Call of Duty Next, literally everyone was getting to round 50 at ease in their first game, even multiplayer and Warzone people that barely ever play zombies. So it made the map to seem extremely easy for everyone watching. And this is not saying a good lie for Treyarch when they were saying that the mode is supposed to be more difficult, and then we've just seen how easy this map is. However, like I was saying, I think they intentionally made it easier for this build specifically at Call of Duty Next just to showcase the map and for multiplayer and Warzone fans to see it and make it seem like, well, anyone can jump in and play and it's really easy. I think that everything like how easy the pack-a-punch is still going to stay the same for launch, but I think they intentionally made things easier in the gameplay. The reason why I'm saying this is because when Terminus was revealed and YouTubers got to play a bit early, they said that ammunition was very, very limited, and they had barely any ammo. They were running out on round 15 very quickly, but then suddenly in Liberty Falls, people are spawning in with a ridiculous amount of ammo. They might as well have enough forever. So I think either this was in response to people complaining of Terminus and Treyarch overcorrected, or they just gave the players way more ammunition just for this event specifically, so that no one ran into trouble and they were able to showcase the map with ease. And I think the latter is the one that's correct. I think they allowed everyone to take more hits in the gameplay because they were able to take a ton of hits. I think they gave people more ammunition, and I think they tuned down the zombies specifically for this event. However, it's made the map seem way easier than it actually is. I don't think this map is going to be as easy as it is when we actually get to play it on launch. I think it's still going to be an easy map because that's what this map is supposed to be intentionally. However, I don't think it's going to be quite as easy as the gameplay was making out. So I think this is another big mistake by Treyarch. I think if they purposefully made it easy for this event specifically, they should have said something. But I guess the intention was to try and make Warzone people think that, you know, the map is so easy, anyone can jump in. So maybe that's why they never said anything. The other thing is that the map is clearly unfinished. There are many different quirks that were clearly unfinished. For example, the menu screen is very bland, whereas we got really cool menus always in the past, and I think that's because this is just a placeholder for the alpha. It could be the same on launch, but I really just think that this is probably not finished yet. Also, there's no infill animation. You just randomly spawn in the map after the loading screen ends, even though Cold War Zombies had unique infill animations for every single map. I have to assume, again, it's unfinished. I mean, Treyarch have literally now added death animations at the end of the game, so the fact they've gone through that extra effort of doing that makes me feel like they have to have one for infilling it in as well, but it's just not ready yet. Maybe it crashes the game or something like that. There's also various other weird things in the gameplay. For example, the Wonder Fizz machine, the new perk Melee Macchiato, is the only one that has the new perk icon cut out like how it used to be, but the other ones are just square, just like the Wonder Fizz from Cold War Zombies. So again, I think that this is just a bit of an unfinished thing. I think all of these things are going to get ironed out by launch. So I don't think this was showing the mode in its best light. There are things like this that were mistakes. Now, I really hope that Treyarch can change the HUD for launch because it has been such a big complaint. I'm totally fine with them leaving the HUD as it is. However, the Black Ops 3 preset HUD, I think they should just make Black Ops 3's HUD default. Just have the exact same HUD. There's various different people who have edited the HUD to make it look like Black Ops 3's, and it looks so much better. So I hope that Treyarch can do this. If it's not ready for launch, I hope post-launch. I hope Treyarch can respond to feedback on this. If they let people have the choice to either choose the Cold War Zombies looking HUD, the multiplayer looking HUD, or the Black Ops 3 one, this is perfect. Give players that choice. Immediately, Liberty Falls would look so much better just by allowing you to have Black Ops 3's HUD. It doesn't need to be the default one. Like I said, just give people the choice. Always more freedom is better. And regarding how easy the mode looked, as well as the Cold War Zombies systems returning, there has been a classic mode leaked from Steam specifically, which makes it seem like it's definitely something Treyarch are working on. Now, considering Treyarch haven't announced it yet, it's probably going to be coming post-launch, maybe in Season 1, however, probably even later. If this is something that Treyarch are working on, I think they desperately need to announce this, because this would remove a lot of the hate of Black Ops 6 Zombies. All of these people annoyed about the Cold War Zombie systems might have an alternate mode to play. Now, of course, since it's been found in the Steam files, there's the potential that this is something cut, it's something Treyarch were working on, or we're misinterpreting it. However, if it's something that Treyarch are working on, like I said, they definitely need to announce it. Of course, we don't know what the systems are actually going to be like in this mode, but I have to assume it's going to be like classic Zombies, hence the name. Zombies Black Ops 3 and prior. Maybe it's got the classic point system, maybe there's no score streaks, maybe it's just got the Black Ops 3 HUD by default with no minimap, etc., and you can't customize it. Maybe you spawn in with just a pistol. There's maybe just a one-tier pack-a-punch, just the classic pack-a-punch that gives you a random ammo mod if you pack-a-punch twice or more. Maybe there's no armor, there's no crafting table, there's no score streaks, there's no self-revives. Maybe it's just the classic quick revive that allows you to revive on solo. Maybe it's just the classic 3-hit down without jug or 4-hit downs with jug. Although it was 2-hit down, of course, without jug, Black Ops 2 and prior, but I don't think they would ever revert back to that. So yeah, we don't know how it's going to work yet, but if Treyarch are having a classic version for old fans and then the Cold War Zombies style version so that there's something for all fans to enjoy, personally, I would play both. I like both styles of gameplay. This solves all of the complaints of the game, apart from Liberty Falls atmosphere, because Terminus and hopefully the rest of the DLC will have unique atmospheres, and they have harder Easter eggs, and there's also the guided version, the easier version as well. So there's literally something for all players if this classic version is releasing, and this is another complaint. Now, of course, Treyarch would have to rebalance the way all of the systems work on the classic version, so it would take a lot of development time, which is why I think maybe it could be something post-launch. But if this is something that Treyarch are going to be releasing, this is another massive mishap and mistake of Call of Duty Next, is they should have announced it at this event if it's something coming, because this would have tempered heard a lot of people's complaints. All of the complaints about the Cold War Zombie systems would be completely nullified if they announced that there's a classic system as well releasing. However, I think the big problem with Call of Duty Next is a lot of people have now seen the gameplay. This is their only impression they've gotten of the mode. They haven't heard the things like you can customize the HUD or all of the other features I mentioned before, and now they're just thinking the mode is terrible. They're not going to pre-order, they're not going to play the game, they're not going to pay attention to any of the other marketing. So, for example, if Treyarch now do announce that there's a classic mode coming, or they announce, for example, they're adding the Black Ops 3 HUD, or they're changing the HUD to look better, if they announce anything good like that, I think so many people have already tuned out that they're not even going to hear these announcements, and they're going to miss out on potentially playing content they might enjoy, because this is the only interpretation of the mode that they've been able to see. So I think Call of Duty Next has been a massive mistake. I think they should have never even shown us Liberty Falls. They should have left it as a surprise so we get to experience it for the first time for ourselves. They should have announced things like a classic mode if it is coming. They should have explained all of the new features of Black Ops 6 Zombies they announced before. They should have explained the customizable HUD. They should have not made Liberty Falls easier for this event intentionally. And the final thing I want to discuss is people saying that Treyarch lied about Black Ops 6 Zombies. So this has been a big thing because people were expecting Liberty Falls to, for some reason, to be a lot different than they were expecting. People are now saying Treyarch lied. However, like I said before, they always described Liberty Falls as being the simple map with a very simple setup. They've never lied about that, so I don't know where this sentiment is coming. Because Treyarch said that they're doing harder Easter eggs now and they're having atmospheric maps, and they saw how good Terminus looks, I think that's why they thought Liberty Falls was going to be of the same caliber when Treyarch never said that. Liberty Falls is being described as a bonus map right now, but I don't think it's even fair to describe it as a bonus map. It's a more simple map, sure. It's the camo grind, it's the brainless map just for shooting zombies basically, quick, fast-paced action to just jump into the game. But I don't think it can be classed as a bonus map because it does have a main quest and lots of side quests apparently. Treyarch said there's quests with different ghosts that you can actually find. So I think Treyarch saying it is a main round-based map was totally fair. The atmosphere is basically the only real complaint. We did see a little gameplay teaser before of it, so we kind of saw what it looked like. So personally, I don't think Treyarch lied about this at all. I think the atmosphere definitely could and should be better. However, I think everything that Treyarch announced about Black Ops 6 Zombies is true for Terminus and all of the DLC maps, so I don't think they lied, and we haven't seen the quests yet. It might be more difficult than meets the eye, for example, and show us more of the map. I think Treyarch did lie, well, kind of about one thing through omission, which is the fact that Liberty Falls is just operators. There is no main crew, whereas there's just a main crew on Terminus, but you can also play as operators on that map as well. So this has been the only lie. When they announced Terminus and Liberty Falls, they said that Liberty Falls is just playing as an elite unit. They never specified operators. Now, many other people and I assumed an elite unit meant operators, and in my videos I've been saying that it's probably operators on Liberty Falls, but so many people in my comments were convinced there's going to be a main crew on this map, but I was adamant and I just didn't think that was going to be the case. So people were expecting a main crew for this map, and that is not the case. So I think this is definitely something Treyarch should have been honest about. Now I'm hoping that, like Liberty Falls having a basic atmosphere, this is the only map that is just operators. All of the DLC I hope has a main crew, whether it's the same crew or whether other characters such as Peck or Richtofen even or stuff like that join us as the main crew in the DLC. I hope that every single DLC map has a main crew, and if that is the case, Treyarch should have announced it. When they announced Terminus and Liberty Falls, they should have just been honest. They should have said Terminus is the more rich, complex map, then we have Liberty Falls, a more basic, atmospheric map, a very simple map to jump into, and it has operators. However, if they are planning all of the DLC to have rich atmospheres and a main crew, they should have said Liberty Falls is just the only map like this. They should have been transparent and honest, because now people are worried that the DLC might contain maps that have basic atmospheres or have just operators. However, I don't think that's going to be the case, and if that is true, Treyarch should say this so that people are not worried and explain that this is just a one-off map. And the last thing people are saying that they lied about is because of the Liberty Falls intro cutscene being so awesome, featuring Richtofen in this mansion, people thought that maybe the mansion is actually a playable area on the map. I don't think it's fair to say that this is misleading, because this is basically storyline setup. There's a storyline reason why Richtofen is in this mansion, and it was established long ago in Cold War Zombies. We were always expecting Richtofen to come back. It is unfortunate that he gets teleported away and he is taken, and when he's not playable on this map, I have to assume he's probably going to be playable in the future at some point, hopefully sooner rather than later. We're probably going to be trying to rescue him in the DLC. However, the mansion will apparently be coming as a DLC map. It's been found in the files of the game. So I don't think it's totally misleading for us to see this mansion if it is going to be a map in the future, with probably the underground place down the elevator as well. Now, yes, it made Liberty Falls seem bigger than it actually is, and I guess in that sense it is unfortunate, but the Liberty Falls intro cutscene was more so to establish the story. Yes, it serves as a trailer to advertise the map. However, at the same time, if Treyarch never released it early, we would have seen it the first time jumping into the the game, and it would have just introduced the story to us like it is supposed to do. So I think we're misconstruing the intro cutscene as just being a trailer. It's not just a trailer, it's also storyline stuff. There's a reason, like I was saying, why he's in that mansion, and we will be seeing the mansion later. We're just gonna have to wait a little bit. So in that sense, I don't think it's totally misleading, because we are gonna be able to play on it, just not yet. Maybe we'll even teleport here in the Liberty Falls Easter egg temporarily to just go in like one room and then come back or something like that, but probably not the full thing, because that's gonna be a DLC map. Let me know, do you agree? Do you think the Liberty Falls reveal was a mistake in how they actually did it? I think Treyarch have made so many mistakes here. Anyways, thank you for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're not here for latest and great Call of Duty news information. So anyways, thank you for watching, and bye.